What's up?
Hey guys!
Oh,
Scotch for Dummies here. What's going on?
Thirsty Thursday.
Who are those good-looking guys?
Man,
I'm gonna tell you what.
old school intro. Get you into
Beat
it.
that, man.
It does.
Makes you want to party right there.
That thing
Welcome to
stands
Thursday.
the test of time. That thing is at least 5 years old. At least.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
When I created that, I was down in the basement over there on the couch. I'm like, "What's this iMovie all about?"
Oh,
Put it
man.
together.
Turned out awesome.
It
Turned out
did
pretty
turn out
good.
awesome. Someone called it out in the chat too.
Steve
Rogers.
Rogers.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, let's go.
Nice. That's a good call, man. Not everybody's been there to see that one.
Who all do we have? I see Tom, obviously Steven, the Blocklanger, Jimmy T, Wes.
Yeah, all these guys were in the
Where's
pre-show.
he?
Where were you,
Malt
Wesley?
We
Minion.
missed you in the pre-show.
Alejandro.
Yeah, we missed you in the pre-show too, Alejandro. So I see Chuck, Malt Minion, Nurse, Dave, Shaving World, yo.
Yo, what's going
Oh,
on?
Trooper
Maybe
must be off the rig because he's
Actually
got
dry.
He said dry South Louisiana. What?
But he's also got
Louisiana.
whiskey, so it's good.
What? She's
Right on time. We should like super
You know
chat
what?
her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Can we do that?
Welcome to the
Dee.
show.
That's awesome.
Mm.
Oh my gosh! Look at all the new members too.
Nate is
Yeah,
on
we
the
got a ton of people
pre-show.
on.
He's drinking a 29-year-old Glenellicky. Man, I want some
I'm
of
jealous.
that. I know.
I'm jealous.
Oh, Kim Reddick, I like the intro. That's a classic one, right?
Yeah,
It
Old
is a
school.
classic, man.
Everwind.
Everwind. Always good to see that guy.
Bobby.
Bobby.
Hey, Donner Pass.
Right on.
So Thursday night, here we are, and
Teddy.
there's a ton
Oh,
of
look
people
at
that
this.
we want to see. Look, I see Breen.
What's he say?
Teddy, big fan, guys. Don't stop re-reviewing bottles from your early days. The journey is interesting to watch.
Ah,
It's interesting to be on.
You know what is cool? Speaking of that, it's full transparency. You know, when we first started this, we get comments. We're like, oh, we're always on it. Now, I mean,
Every day. Yeah.
now it's like I haven't logged into the site. It's so hard to keep up with everything going
Yeah,
on. And what is nice is when you do log in, you see people looking at all the old stuff we
Right.
did, and I'm like, wow, that's
And still commenting on it.
I know it's kind of cool to go back and look at some of those.
My favorite is people who are like super critical of like our third video or something, and we're like, you should like get more current. It's
Look
fine.
at something today.
We don't use rocks glasses anymore.
Yeah.
To the point,
We've
you
learned.
know,
Yep.
it is fun to actually go back and get into a bottle that you haven't had in 4 or 5 years and see what you think about it now, because so much has changed on your palate, your life, what you do, who you are, and it's fun and interesting. But you know, that's part of the journey, right?
Well, that's
what
why
we're
that's
doing.
why the name is one of us has a shirt on, I think. Well,
Scotch
so-
No.
I don't
No one
know.
has
4
a
guys
journey.
on a Scotch journey.
Yeah, we're on a journey. That's what we started with,
Yep.
and so are you.
Speed
And
ramming tonight.
you are speed dreaming.
We hit a bottle that we reviewed. I don't know what 6 months ago,
Yeah, this is what we're starting off with.
Doers 27.
and it's nice.
Double.
We also
27.
we started off with that too. That's original. Like that's probably a 5-year-old review.
Yep.
Maybe
Oh,
more.
Yep,
well,
and that was delicious as well.
OP12.
Nice and
man,
malty.
you know, it's fun to come back to that because I haven't had OP12 in such a long time. And you're
delicious.
like, man, what a great value bottle. You
Yep.
can't go wrong pouring that bottle, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. You don't
I
feel
got
guilty.
that. I got that along with that new Karen. I can't pay like $45 for it. I mean,
It's good. It's
that's
a
a
good
good
dram.
value for a 12-year-old, and it's a freaking
is.
great.
But let's be honest, Sean never feels guilty pouring a dram, no matter what it is,
No,
right?
he doesn't.
Unless it's somebody
Why would
else
I?
opening up something of yours that you didn't
Not
want to open,
supposed to.
right?
Well, and here's the thing about that. It's not that I wouldn't open it. It's just not yet. Like I had a plan for that bottle. Well, and actually, to be fair, that particular bottle, I was only mad because we had an open bottle
Yeah,
behind
that's
it.
true.
I wouldn't have even cared if he opened it up when
But
we
there was
needed it.
one open already.
Anyway,
So Mark,
water under the bridge.
Are you shooting with all your faculties?
How is your palate? So, Tom, I would say I'm definitely in the 85 to 90%. And my palate, I feel, is really strong. I definitely feel like my palate's back. Nose, in everyday life, I feel it's back. It's sometimes hard on Scotch, believe it or not. It's easier for me to pull notes on bourbons and American single malts, but the Scotches sometimes I find a little bit more tricky. But it's definitely, I definitely feel comfortable at least talking about them. And, I don't feel like I need to pass. Where before I was honest, I would say, guys, I'm not getting anything. I'm not going to make it up.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to repeat what
Right.
you're saying when that's not what I'm getting. So I would just recuse myself, but I don't think I need to do that. Does that mean that it's worth anything? I don't know if it's worth anything before. So
I like that our judging is up at the level that you have to recuse yourself.
I know, right?
Yeah, we're
Well,
that
I'm not going
important.
to sit here and make up shit that I don't smell, right?
Oh, I'm going to get you a gavel to go with your monocle.
Yeah, quick cheers, and I'm glad to hear that the fire is definitely moving away from your house, Donner. So good job there. Hopefully,
Yeah, no kidding, man. Good. That's good to hear.
Michael,
What's up?
you ever had the Ugadale before? And it's the only thing I've had that beats Lagavulin 16.
Yeah.
That's a close tie. I
That
would
is
say those
close,
are goals. Yeah.
but I still love Lagavulin. But man, I got an unopened bottle of Ugadale at home.
It's
I'll
delicious.
never forget the first time we opened that bottle in your bar.
Nope.
The
No,
memories
no,
ingrained
I
in
think
my
we
head.
opened it, put it right back on the shelf, and
I'll take a
nope.
swig.
Well, it was
and
the
like-
first actual peated whiskey we'd ever tried, all four of us. And we were
Yeah, 'cause
so excited
we hadn't had
too.
Lagavulin yet. We hadn't had Lefroy yet. That was like,
That was a big pull.
That was a
We spent a
big-
bunch of money on that bottle.
Yeah.
We were.
George wants to know: is this a cork pop show?
yeah.
Yeah. Brand new
Anytime
bottle.
George asks that question, the answer is yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're getting into what's
so-
the story with this bottle? How'd you
Yeah,
get
so
this?
let's move this on and talk about what we're going to do tonight. So
Yeah.
actually, we do have a guest that we haven't seen in quite some time. I
Yeah.
think is going to pop in at some point in time. You guys
Yep.
might have heard of him.
Is it me?
Kind of I don't know.
He's a big
geek
Well, you
celebrity.
haven't you haven't gone a while,
Wears
so
a
it's
white
good to see you
lab
back.
coat.
He's a big celebrity in the Scotch world.
He is.
I've heard Dr. Scotch can lay some information down.
Lay some information down.
Yeah, he can
He
do
is
that.
wise.
Yes, wise behind his ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but we're also going to get into, we're going to do another live review, kind of like we did last week. It's kind of fun. You guys get to see it live, but that way we can actually reproduce it out there for prosperity.
Yeah, this is our way to kind of kill two birds with one stone, do live reviews, and also kind of repost them for better production. So
Yep.
Yeah, so, and that bottle is going to be?
The Lagavulin 11 Offerman edition.
Guinness.
This is
Yeah,
one of
Yeah,
the Guinness.
the Guinness one. So we did the 11, his first one, right? We reviewed that one, and I thought about it. I thought we had an open bottle somewhere. It might have been nice to bring it this
That
year
would
to
have been good.
compare
Yeah.
it, but I don't want to do
I've
a
got one on
comparison
my
because this
bar.
is
I
a
think
true
it's good.
review. So I think now, after we review this, I think maybe next week or in the near
Yeah, we can
future
do
we
that.
can do a comparison of the two, and I think that would be better.
Yeah, we
because
can
I
do that
don't
on a
wanna-
live show
Yeah.
afterward.
We haven't heard too much other than I think Tom has talked about it a few times on our pre-shows that it's supposed to be really good. I'm looking forward to getting into them. I'm really excited about the Guinness part of it and being finished there
Yeah,
for 4 months or something like that.
Yeah, it strikes me as something like trying to get into the signet flavor where you get a kind of a coffee or a chocolate more maybe into it, but I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Does this have
I've not read reviews on it.
Does this
so.
have the doodad in it that
Nitrate,
Like
nitrous.
the-
that
like
bubbles
the
it up.
little nitrogen
No,
thing?
but look at the bottom.
That would be bad.
So that's the cool thing. If you pull the bottle out, it's still got the foil on it. The top of the foil looks like a pour of Guinness. It's cool.
It's got the froth.
It's
Oh.
really
Oh,
cool.
it's got a frothy top.
Ah,
Isn't
look at that.
Yeah.
So-
We'll talk about it
Yeah,
here.
we'll talk about it.
We'll talk
That's
about it.
cool.
in
That's
the
cool.
review. But I'm excited about it. That's cool. We'll get into that.
Yep.
And then I think we're going to open it up and just have a relaxed show, right?
Yeah,
I don't think
we're
we
gonna
have
drink
any
some stuff.
major things that we want to hit
Nope.
on. So we'll probably pay a lot more attention to the comments tonight after this review and really just have more of a dialogue. There's a lot of new people. There's a couple new patrons we saw in the pre-show, which was
We did.
exciting to see.
Yeah.
So welcome to you
Growing.
guys.
we love seeing people on there. It's so much fun.
Welcome to the community and the journey, right? So
I think that's part of one of the coolest things about, just watching everybody in the pre-show, we were talking about a little bit. One of the coolest things about, I think, our journey sharing with you all, but just the community that we've kind of helped establish. And just like some new guys you mentioned came into the pre-show and
Yep.
they're so excited to start their journey. Three months, Pierre, right? 3
Yeah.
months. and he's so excited to get on his journey and learn stuff. I'm like, man, that's so awesome. And he's got the best information at his fingertips now in our
Yeah.
Discord channel and all the guys in the Patreon. So he's in good hands.
Yep.
Regardless.
Man, I'll tell you what, if
page.
if we would have had that when we first started out, how many
gosh.
fumbles would we have avoided?
Yeah, we would.
Like, hey guys, we're thinking about doing this Scotch next week. First of all, how do you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Let's start with
Is
that.
it an Islay? Is that what we said it was?
Right.
Islay.
And should we keep drinking out of these rocks glasses?
Islay.
This because my rock doesn't fit in these.
Right. But that was part of the learning
It's
process.
the
so I'm
journey.
glad
We filmed
did
it
that.
all. It's
Yep.
fun.
I do see Sunday evening. Mike's on, and I saw his wife's on as well. So it's been a while since you guys have been able to catch off for, and it's good to see you guys here though too. And Bobby J's here. Eric, wait, what's going on with that?
Any
guy?
plans to make
West
Scotch
Coast
for
or-
Dummies pajamas?
Pajamas.
No. Maybe we'll get you a
I don't know. You
onesie.
want to talk? I mean, maybe if you got an idea.
I guess we can make a onesie with all our faces on it.
As long as
Okay,
it's got
this-
those
no.
plastic footies that you can
Eric-
slide across
Yeah.
the wood flooring.
I think he's trying to derail us on purpose.
Yeah, it could be.
If I can get some Mark and Drew slippers, that'd be awesome.
I
Like faces on them. That'd be
might be able
awesome.
to make that happen. I know
He's,
we're done.
he's like, saw on the news, alcohol is bad for cancer and coffee is good. Guess I need to drink more coffee because I'm not drinking whiskey.
I drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like a lot.
he's never gonna
He
die.
does drink a lot of coffee. Anyway, so do we want to do review first, or do we want to try to go hunt this?
Why don't we go find
doc
Dr.
out?
Scotch?
I don't know.
first?
Is he around?
I can go find him.
All right.
I think
We
he's-
were actually looking
he
for
may
him
be
in
in
the
the green
pre-show.
room.
We couldn't find him.
Maybe we should talk
Yeah.
to the doc before we get into a peated whiskey.
That's probably a smart idea.
Yeah. Okay. That
Let's go
sounds
see if we
like
can find
Yeah, I'll
it.
go see if I can
Sounds
find him.
good.
all right.
All right, see you
Stay
guys.
tuned.
They call me Dr. Scott. They call me Dr.
Oh, look
Dr.
who's
Scott.
here.
Hey,
Dr.
guys, what's going on?
Oh, it took a longer to
Did you,
find him than
Yeah,
the
he
intro
was
for
kind
him.
of lost in the corner.
I
somewhere.
thought you had a longer intro.
That's all I had.
The green room's a long way. It's like you got to go up to the kitchen, go to the spare bedroom, and then, whatever.
Long time no see. Doc.
Long time no
First
see.
time caller.
First
Long
time no see.
time listener.
Man, it's been a long time, guys. And you know what? The science of whiskey just does not stop.
Oh, do tell.
And I heard that you guys were doing this Lagavulin, which I think is great. I have not seen that, but Lagavulin's, what they're known for?
Pete?
Deliciousness?
Peated whiskey.
Heaven.
Ah,
White Dunwich houses.
They make peated whiskey. So, I got some notes because
So what's peated whiskey?
So peated whiskey is when you add flavor of peat to the whiskey.
What's peat?
Well, that's where I'm going.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about kind of what peat is, how they use peat, and how we measure peat and why it's important and how you distill to make it and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to try and go through this fast because I know we only got a few minutes. But first, peat is basically young coal. So it's a bunch of organic matter that's starting to compress and condense and become it's young coal, because that's eventually, once peat goes deeper and deeper into the ground, it becomes coal. So it's just this hydrocarbon rich soil that when you dry it out, burns great and puts off an acrid smoke.
So if
And-
Superman were to squeeze it hard enough, he can make a diamond.
You can make a diamond out.
so I'm
Okay.
going to say that since it's young coal, it's probably less efficient
It
in
is.
its energy production.
It's
than
more
coal would
smoky.
be.
It's the energy per pound is way
still burns.
BTU per pound is way lower. But the beauty is, if you're working with you don't have a lot of wood around, you don't have a lot of trees around. In England, they burn through and the UK burned through a lot of trees building boats and things back in the day. They found this peat. It burned. It produced heat. It was great for your fire pit, fireplace, whatever. So,
Right.
so they
Keep the
use
house
it.
hot and warm.
So what whiskey has done is they've used that to dry the barley. So when you're making malted barley, you got to germinate the barley, and that creates all the enzymes that then will convert the starches into sugars that then the yeast can run. But when you soak it and germinate it, then you got to dry it out. Well, in the early days, peat was the most available heat source, so they just dried it over peat. Well, peat's getting more and more scarce. People are getting more ecologically friendly, and
True.
they realize that peat doesn't work for the entire drying process. So there's no point in using peat for that. So, the use of peat is kind of what you'll hear in most whiskey lore is parts per million of phenol. So that phenol is one of the
Parts per million of what?
of phenol. So that
Okay.
the phenol is a chemical compound that comes out of burning peat. And what that does is then that infuses into the barley itself, into the husk of the barley. And so what they will do is they'll measure it. They'll grind up the barley and they'll measure the parts per million by weight of phenol into that grain.
Okay. I
And
see.
so what you'll find is Octomore is
While he's
a
talking, let's get something with Pita in it.
Yeah, let's
so Octomore is one of the heaviest peated. They call over 200 parts per million.
200. That's a high number.
That's a
then.
high number, 200 parts per million of peat. Now, the thing that most people will discuss is that part per million measurement is in the grain itself, not in the whiskey.
Okay.
So they will infuse the barley with the peat smoke, and it will create a certain level of peat. Now,
Can I ask a question
Sure.
while we're on this? So I do some barbecue occasionally, and
What?
when you're doing barbecue, the initial smoking, that first like hour or two is where you get all of the smoke penetration.
Mhm.
Everything after that is
Heat.
just kind of
Cook.
it doesn't add anything more to what you're doing.
and
So is it the same way
I'm
with
glad you brought that up because that is exactly the same phenomenon that happens here.
Okay.
So when you dry with peat, you want to go low and slow because once it gets, so normally when you germinate, it gets about 30% moisture. So you want to slowly infuse that peat smoke flavor into the barley as it's drying. But once it gets lower than 15%, it doesn't pick up any more peat. And so it's
the slower
very
you do the
much
process, the
the
more
more
peat you can
add.
infuse.
Exactly. And so that is kind of a
So heavily peated would be in that situation.
yeah, and so it's just, I mean, it's really so much like smoking. As I was going through research, it's like smoking meat. You want it low, you want it slow because then you can put more smoke
Well, yeah,
in here,
makes total
into
sense,
more
yeah.
peat in there.
Okay.
You want, if you burn peat too hot, it produces white smoke and less flavor, and it burns off all the aromatics, and you don't get the flavor.
So you're losing it.
Again,
Pointless.
like that's why you soak the wood so it doesn't burn. It smokes. It's the same,
It's a
exact
smoldering-
same
Same thing with
phenomena.
the smoking process.
You want black smoke coming off the peat, and it'll add all that flavor and all the aromatics into the barley.
all that
Makes sense.
carcinogen.
Exactly, it is, and there's
Whatever,
lots
man.
of carcinogens
Favorite.
in there. So typically, when they measure the peat level in the grain, Octomore is up above 200. Lafroig is around 45 parts per million. Lagavulin, they are around 35 parts per million.
Oh, really?
And Ardbeg is in the 50 to 55, which is typically highly peated, 50 to 55 ppm. But that doesn't mean that the whiskey that you taste from those guys are directly related to that peat level in the grain, because you lose that peat flavor with distillation and age. And we've talked about that some of the really old, like Lagavulins, they definitely are diminishing their peat flavor. Well, you know, that char on the barrel, it's a carbon filter. It's going to pull out those organics and those aromatics. So it's going to pull out the flavor. But also with distillate, and this is something I found out today, that when you distill the whiskey, that peat flavor doesn't come out evenly across that distillate. So when
It might come out early, or it might come out late in the flavors. What you're saying?
exactly. So the early the four shots, when you start to distill, that you depending on what flavors you're pulling, you may include or disclude or not include some of that material. There's almost no peat or smoky flavor in the four shots. Even when you go through the main heart cut, very little smoky flavor. It's the feints
No kidding.
where all that flavor.
So,
Wow.
but then you have to be careful where you
Exactly.
make your cut.
Right, because then you're getting too many feints, and it's
you
just
get too much baby vomit and all
Right.
that kind of stuff. In fact, that back third of the cut has 6 times the smokiness as that heart cut.
So
Wow.
it's a very delicate.
It's a really good, it's a delicate balance. And you'll, if you look up online how the alcohol content of the center cuts for all the different whiskeys, it's all based on getting that smoky back end. It's really,
That's
it's really
wild.
interesting.
Huh. So it sounds to me like it's definitely much more tricky to get a really good heavily peated whiskey without that
It is.
vomity flavor. On the
Yeah,
back
well,
end.
I mean, and you know, you got 200 ppm going into Octomore, but it doesn't taste quite honestly, it's peated, but I'm not sure it has the richest, most powerful flavor of peated whiskeys. And
I agree.
And everyone you talk to, Ardbeg, for example, the Corey Vrecken actually has lower peat quantity than the Ardbeg 10, but it tastes smokier. So it's not that peat flavor is not always directly related to the phenol. There's lots of other flavors in there.
Thank you for
All
saying that,
temperature.
because the Octomores that we've had, there's been some I've been like, man, this is 200 plus ppm. Where is it?
Exactly.
It's got high ABV, but not so much.
Yeah.
of
So,
the peat.
so for example, Lefroy, they're peated at about 40 ppm. I think that's what we said earlier. 40,
Wow.
45 ppm. Their distillate is about 25 ppm, and their final whiskey is less than 10 ppm.
No kidding.
So that the peat level drops through the barreling, through the distillate, do all
that's
that
the
kind of.
Freud 10?
That's any of the Lefroy, because they start with the same new make and barreling for most of their whiskeys.
It packs a punch for that.
It is, but it's young. It's a young whiskey.
So it's more prevalent. It's
Yeah.
easier to taste.
Yeah, and all those chemicals that come out of that. So we talk about phenol, but there's lots of other chemicals. There's
Sure.
glycol. There's what do I have else here? I forgot some of the other compounds, but they all have different flavor potency. So the phenol, the reason they measure that is because it is the most potent flavor compound. Well, no, it's the most measurable flavor compound. The other ones are on a much tinier level. Like that would be at like 8 or 10 ppm in your whiskey. The glycol, which has a much more potent flavor, is at like 0.003 part per million.
Wow.
So it's much harder to measure, and so it's really more difficult.
Does
to
that
be able to-
does that stuff come over in the same ratio though, so they can kind of guesstimate like if
I
I've
did
got
not
my
get into
phenol
that level of
levels at
detail.
this, because it probably
It should all
somewhere in
well,
that.
they're all organics, they're all aromatics, and a very similar physical structure related to the alcohol.
or do they
coming
just
over.
not care about that stuff? And
Well,
whatever?
the glycol is a really great woody flavor. There's actually a fair amount of that in Lagavulin because they like that woody flavor in their whiskey. So
so realistically, the cut may be even more important than the amount of phenols that end up in the grain that you're.
Again, like any
I would
whiskey,
think
it's
so.
one component because
Right.
the way the barreling will affect the peated flavor.
True.
The ppm and the grain
The
will
age.
affect.
It's
the
true.
age,
It's just
all
one part
how,
of the-
how you cut for the distillate.
Mhm.
But one thing that we didn't talk about is the differences in peat. So if you smoke
Correct.
with peat from the Northern Highlands versus the peat from Isla, it's that compound, that peat, that material is actually made up of different types
Plant
of
matter.
things.
Yes.
Plant matter. Yeah.
So
thank
you will get different organic compounds coming through with that heather and all those
more
kind of things.
salt, more brine,
Yeah.
more okay.
Environmental.
Yeah,
Right.
so that all comes into account. So we've covered how you distill it. You've covered the kind of the ppm content. I think we've got almost all of the bases covered for peat, unless you guys have other questions.
I got a peated scented candle I'm dying to burn, but my wife won't let me do
Well-
it. Thanks to Bobby H.
I guess that is there any concern with overpeating? Like, I mean, it's dirt. I know they have peat bogs.
It's dirt.
Well, I don't know if you
But
can
I mean-
over peat a whiskey because again, as the grain dries, you can put more peat in, but it's not going to add.
It's
Well,
not
I'm-
soaking in.
I'm talking about like mining the peat as like, when you make peat bogs, I know there's areas they protect now and stuff. Cause this is like, you're talking about hundreds of years old.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. There is. And actually, I thought at one point I read a few years ago that Isla could run out of peat, but I think they might have modified that.
I know they make their own peat bogs, but that's still got to wait.
But yeah, I mean, it grows like a millimeter a year.
Yeah.
So when you're digging out 18 inches of peat, so that's hundreds or thousands of years of peat.
Every shovel.
Every shovel.
But one
Yeah.
thing that you didn't touch on, there are other ways that bottlers, distillers impart peat and flavor in their whiskey, and that's by aging in a previously cask that held
true.
peat. So
Yeah, that's
you
true.
can impart peat flavor
It's
profile.
kind of like flavoring, like drink flavoring does. Is it really getting the same?
Well,
essence?
so it is. It is it's different. The composition is going to be different because you can also use peated water, water that is
Sure.
steeped through a peated bog as to dilute your whiskey before you bottle it.
Yeah.
That would
You
add
could
flavor.
use
There are
liquid
lots of
smoke,
ways to
too.
do
I
it.
mean, it's-
Well,
yeah.
but that is illegal. That
We-
technically
I
that's
know,
illegal,
but my
yes.
point is like it doesn't feel like it's real. It's like it feels like you're.
I don't
cheating.
know. So when
I don't
some
know.
of those lighter peated whiskeys that we've had that weren't peated, they were peated by virtue of being in a cask that had
Yeah.
previous. To me, those are really good stepping stones for people that want
Yes.
to kind of venture
True.
into the peated
Yeah, Wolf,
books. They're
that's
very
what Wolfburn
light,
did.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. That is a good point.
as opposed to punching you in the nose.
Well,
I
and-
even
and-
find the Highland Parks are very approachable because they're like 10% peated
Yeah,
whiskey
like-
and
yeah.
90%
10
Well,
not.
and-
ppm is what
Yeah.
really. They're
Yeah,
really
and
low.
that's one of the things that was interesting is when they say they start with 40 ppm grain, that doesn't mean that every grain is 40 ppm. That means they may have 10% 400 ppm and 90% zero. So they can blend the grain
Oh wow,
to
yeah.
get to an
okay.
average ppm
Interesting.
ratio too.
That's crazy.
So, that is one.
Hmm.
That is actually one way that a distillery can.
That does feel like cheating.
Well, but it's great for a distillery though, because then if you want to save your peat, you peat
Here's
up
a
a
shirt.
Hey, would you spell
Save the
that real
P.
quick just to be clear? You know, it's
P-E-A-T.
P-E-A-T. We're not talking about P-E-T, right? It's not a guy.
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
you want
if
to
he's
burn
in the bog, I guess.
if you want to burn less peat, then you go really slow and you really heavily peat a certain percentage of your grain, and then you blend it with other non.
Before we let you go, I just want to say thank
Mhm.
you, Krista.
Krista,
Krista,
thank you for the
thank you.
super
Thank you.
chat.
Thank you.
While
We got-
Dr. Scotch was educating us
Yep.
or confusing us,
We have a
Yeah.
couple questions coming in, and we
I
got another
definitely
super
want to
chat.
thank you.
What's this one?
I have to express my gratitude for the shout out. Oh, you are special.
Yep.
Dean.
You are
You
very
are. We
special.
love you.
We love you.
Cheers,
Cheers.
man. Thank
Cheers.
you very
Cheers.
much. You didn't need to do that, but you are special.
All right, so let me scroll back up. I know we've got some questions for you.
Yep.
Hopefully, I can. Okay, here we go. I saw one here. What's this? Was this a comment or?
I can't read it.
Oh well, so if you click it, yes, the ppm is a deception. It is marketing. It's the ppm in the grain, and the actual PD flavor may be very vastly different than what they actually have in the grain.
What's Mr. White say?
Peat ppm is also moderated with Coke, a coal derivative which smokes less.
Yeah, that is often so. Coke doesn't really add a whole lot of flavor. That is oftentimes used after they've gotten past the point where the peat flavor is actually infused into it. They use the Coke to actually just
finish the dry.
produce the heat. Yeah,
So
it does add a bit of ashiness to it, which can be.
I mean,
as
in
well.
in commercial like barbecue smokers, if you get like a commercial smoker, the wood is just like it burns up in the first like 2 hours,
Oh yeah,
and everything else is just gas fired.
yeah,
you know,
exactly, and
just
that's
to
fine.
cook.
And that's fine because that's not going to
Yep.
change the flavor either.
Yep,
I
not at
know
all.
I saw a question. There it is. Here's a question. What's she saying here? Okay, here's a question for y'all. You grill a sirloin. Which goes better, a peated Scotch or non-peated Scotch? Ooh,
That's for sure.
Depends on who makes it, I guess.
yeah.
I mean,
Depends on the mood.
yeah, there's a lot of like
I don't know.
you could go either way, honestly. I mean, I can make one that'll be amazing with a peated Scotch, and I can make one that'll be amazing with like a real light, delicate Highland if I wanted to.
I don't
I'm
think
afraid
you can go
you.
wrong either way, to be honest with you. It really is going to come down to my mood on that. I honestly, 99% of the time, I probably don't want a peated Scotch with my food. But I can see a chance that I might.
You know what's actually good with peated Scotch is dessert.
Yeah, dessert goes well. Wild game, because it's got enough like fat content. Usually, well, depends on the wild game, but
I was just going
if
to say
you-
some of it's not.
some of it's pretty like if you're doing
Ooh,
quail or something. 'Cause I did
nice.
quail at the restaurant the other
That's
night. That would have been
phenomenal. That's
horrible with
phenomenal
a
right
peated Scotch, but like maybe like something that's got a little bit stronger, gamier
Maybe
flavor
duck?
to it. Duck would be good. Goose would be good because it's got a little bit of something that'll hold up to the
Right.
flavor. To me, like if you're doing like a really delicate beef, I don't know that it would like. I think the Scotch would overpower.
Unless you're going to char
Let me
it.
ask you a question. Because I'm not going to argue it here, but there is a difference between peat on the profile and smoke. Okay, so I mean, honestly, a peated whiskey is that's one thing, but there's smoky in a whiskey
Can you,
too. Is that
Yes.
can you describe that to our viewers?
so? To me, there's an earthiness level, a charcoal level, like almost a
Earth?
tangible earth charcoal piece to peat, where smoke is literally, it's much more ashy, like an ashtray. I mean,
It could
there's
be a
a
lighter
difference.
flavor.
right.
Yeah.
So how do we get that?
Well, so those are different comments. That's something I did miss is some of the different flavor components that come out of that peat as you smoke it. Number one, you get phenol, and that's your Coke smoke. That's the really charred flavors that come out.
Is it oily? And when it hits the barley, is it attaching to an
Yeah,
oily?
well, yeah, it's the skin and the husks of the barley are absorbing the smoke,
Okay.
absorbing all these compounds. You then have furan or furanol aldehydes. Now that's going to be like sawdust and cereal. So there's actually some of that.
Oh wow.
And,
That's
and
interesting.
I think that is probably, those aldehydes are probably more what's in the Highland peat. So you get a little more heather, a little more lighter flavors, a little more
Okay.
grainy coming through.
Makes sense.
Then you get into alkanes, which are essentially hydrocarbons that add like a paraffin flavor, like wax,
Like a
and
waxy
so maybe that's some of that
coating.
oiliness is coming
Like a
out.
Klein leash maybe a little bit or something. I mean,
Maybe
Interesting.
Koala or something.
yeah, that's hard for me to explain.
Yeah, and then you can get into some aromatic hydrocarbons that have benzene rings on them and things, and that's more like diesel flavoring and some of those really kind
Oh, okay.
Nah,
you're
Yeah,
talking,
we,
yeah.
Now we know what those are.
of
But
not great, but that
what explain to me the process of, and this happens in a lot of peated whiskeys. You'll pour a peated whiskey. Let's say we pour out really heavy, punch you in the nose, Lagavulin or Lefroy 10, right? You take a whiff of that bad boy, and you're like, woo, holy moly! Let that thing sit for 15 minutes and come back, and you're like, damn, where'd it go? Most of it. What's going on there?
they're evaporating.
So the phenols, the peat phenols are evaporating off, and that's why I don't get
If
that.
you
punch
want
anymore.
aromatic hydrocarbons, you got to be on that.
you do. And yeah, exactly. That's
That
why-
would be a
That's
great
what-
shirt for Scotch nerds right there.
Oh shoot, that's a great quote, you
You
guys.
got to sneak up on them.
I'm into those aromatic hydrocarbons.
I'm into those aromatic.
That's
Okay.
I like that. Would be,
That's
somebody
awesome.
make us a shirt.
Dr.
Very
Scotch.
well done, Dr. Scotch. That
All
was
right, well,
interesting. That was fun.
Please add more
engaging.
questions. We'll answer them online.
Nice.
And if you have other questions for Dr. Scotch,
Man,
I
we
think
want
I can
Andrew
come
back
back.
because
It's
we
good
got a
to see
review
you.
to get into.
We do have a
Doc.
review.
All right.
what do you guys
Cheers
have?
to you, buddy.
Cheers.
Hey, man,
Scotch.
thanks for coming by. It's
See
good
ya.
to see you, Doc.
Thanks, Doc.
This guy's crazy.
Cheers.
They call me Dr. Scott. They call me Dr.
Oh, my
Shut your
goodness.
mouth.
Shut your mouth.
Awesome aromatic hydrocarbons.
That was awesome.
So how did Dr. Scotch do?
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know.
I don't even know what to tell you, man. My head's like all full of all kinds of knowledge.
Phenols.
Aromatic hydrocarbons?
Phenols, aromatic hydrocarbons. I'm trying to fill up
Look
on
at this
aromatic
guy.
hydrocarbons.
Look at this guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Thank
so
you.
thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you for being part of this.
And I like
Yes,
Sun
absolutely.
Dating Scotch's comment too.
What do you say?
I saw the.
That's awesome.
Bet you did, Mikey.
Michael, you're so funny.
I love it.
I hope you got the T-shirt.
Oh, look who our favorite YouTubers on Scotch in the Bayou. Make sure
Hey
you go to
there,
her
Scotch on
channel.
the
She's
Bayou.
getting close to like at least 500. Let's get her to 1,000.
Man,
Go-
heck yeah, man.
Everyone go to
She's
Scotch
totally
in the
worth it.
Bayou's YouTube channel. Subscribe to her if you're not. She's awesome.
She's good people.
She really is. So I kind of thought about this afterwards, and I felt like, oh shit, maybe we should have pulled the Lagavulin and not drank it yet. But we're drinking Lagavulin 16. We're going to do Lagavulin 11 here.
No,
It's all good.
that's
I didn't
good.
know
I mean,
you-
I've already cleared my palate on it, but
Yep.
I'm interested because
You guys
Tim-
were drinking Lagavulin
I'm gonna-
while I was
I
gone?
had a sip of it. I'm going to
So-
let it sit now
That's
and
hardly
compare it to
fair.
it.
well, why I did that though, to me, why because I noticed you were doing that. I was Lagavulin 16 is a baseline for me. This is a day. This I've had so much of this. This sets my baseline. I know this.
Oh
right?
yeah,
So
I can pull that out.
all
It's
you
pretty
need
much
that.
guaranteed
all
in the
you did
body.
was reset me. Now I've got somewhere to start
True.
from when I come to that. So I'm
True.
cool with it. And plus, I just put a good mouthful of
Go ahead, hit
water
that
in.
record so we don't forget.
Oh, we've got to record this, don't we?
That's right.
Let me get a little close to you, everybody.
He's coming in hot.
Yeah.
Coming in hot.
There we
All
go.
right, so at least the camera is
Come on,
recording.
stand up too.
Let's give everybody a quick little review of what's going to happen. So we are going to hide the comments, and we are going to do a full review of Lagavulin
Let's
11
clean up
Nick
here a little bit too.
Offerman
Yep, I'm getting some of those whiskey off
Guinness
the bar.
edition. We'll get through the review, then we'll cut it, and we'll hit stop record here, and we'll get back to
Wow, it's clean.
engaging with you guys and see the comments and what you guys think, and we'll talk about the review and what this whiskey was.
Let me get those out of here.
Let's do this.
Oh, we're getting new glasses?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Dang,
Clean
we got
wash.
coins.
This
We got old school coins.
I
You
like
gotta-
that somebody else is doing a dish.
Look at this right here. Right
In my
there.
wheelhouse.
Right on, brother.
Yeah.
Man.
Man.
That's right. Go subscribe. to
I
her.
love old school coins, man.
I know, man. They were the best.
Hey, and by the way, hit the like. It's the best thing that could happen to us. Really. If you're not
We only have
subscribed,
3
you're watching
likes.
this in the review,
We have
hit the like
3
button
likes?
right now.
3?
Yep. 3.
We've already got 3 likes.
71 people. in
No,
Canada.
there's more. There's 71 people watching.
I'm
Let's
sure
get
you
this-
guys.
It's gotta
just
be more than 3
forgot,
likes. All right, so
come on.
Sunday evening.
All right.
Start beating people up.
All right, you guys ready?
Check
for
1,
this?
2.
No, you-
Too late.
We
Too late.
gotta sync the audio and the
Why do
video.
you do that every time?
All right. Are you on this?
No, I thought you were on this. You bought it.
I just bought it.
Sean can do it. He's the Lagavulin master.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
We're
This is
gonna-
what happens, y'all.
we're
Behind the
gonna-
scenes, it's like this. Like, who's doing it?
No,
I think it's 11 years
literally thought
old.
You guys were doing.
It doesn't make it work.
Well, so
you're right.
it's aged in casks of.
It's 4 months. 4 months in
Drew's doing it. That's what I just heard.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah.
4 months in Guinness.
Let's
That's all
do
I know.
this.
That's all I know.
Sounds
Check
good to
one.
me.
See, that's
11 years
why
old.
that's why we're Scotch for Dummies.
Check.
Nick
2.
Offerman.
And we're not Scotch or
This
Drew's
is how we
whiskey
roll.
studies.
Off the cuff.
Off the cuff. You ready? All right. In 3, 2. What's up, everybody?
Hey guys, it is Scotch for Dummies.
4 guys on a Scotch journey to help you with your next Scotch purchase.
Could be this one.
Lagavulin.
Maybe it is this
It's
one.
got the dongle, right?
Well,
The
all I know
dongle.
is it's got this
Right?
guy right here, Nick Offerman.
Nick
on it.
Offerman.
And,
So what do we
That's
got
worth
here?
it.
Lagavulin 11, Nick
Okay,
Offerman
so
edition.
he's already had one of those.
Yes.
And we reviewed it.
Yep. and it was delicious.
It was good. It
So
stands
what's so
in there.
special about this? Was this the same thing?
Different but same. No, same. This one is Guinness edition, right? So finished in Guinness casks.
Well,
I
that's
don't know
nitrogen
about
and
that.
nothing wrong with
So wait, time
that.
out, man. I love Guinness.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody that doesn't like Guinness. So you're bringing one of my favorite scotches together with one of my favorite beers. How can this be wrong? But I don't
So,
know.
is,
We'll
so is
find
this
out.
basically his
I don't know.
11-year-old that they made, and they just put it in an extra 4 months of Guinness?
That's
I
my
guess.
understanding.
Yeah, and I like the detail with the bottle. They've got looks like a Guinness pour on the top here with a
Like
little.
the foam
the
head.
foam
the
head,
white
the
head.
black collar.
Yeah, it's a-
I
It,
mean,
it looks just like his other one.
Yeah,
I
it
can't
does.
tell. I mean,
What's the ABV there, Drew?
46%.
That's right, 46.
Just like typical Lagavulin.
all right.
It just says finish in Guinness. So
So, I mean, the quick backstory: Nick Offerman loves Lagavulin. He had a character on Parks and Rec show that really became synonymous with Lagavulin 16,
For sure.
and Lagavulin kind of latched on to him because of that character, and they did a thing.
did a whole episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And so they actually let him kind of pick some casks and put an 11-year out. And so now this is the follow-up to
Interesting.
that, which they took this whiskey and they aged it in beer barrels.
Basically, they finished it.
They finished it. Yeah, it's finished.
Yeah.
4
Right.
months. Yeah.
4 months, but I'm very curious to see what 4 months in those barrels can do to this, right? I don't have
Good
a
point.
fresh baseline of Lagavulin 11, his other one, on my palate right now. Obviously, I can definitely draw on 16.
Doesn't matter. We don't compare.
But I'm anxious to see if I can taste that flavor
Sure.
in there.
Oh, I'm sure we can.
Yeah, for sure, right?
All right.
It's
so,
lighter than I thought it would be.
Should we use our Scotch for Dummies coins?
Yeah,
of course,
The
yeah.
red
I wanna get
toppers.
some notes
So
on
you
this.
put a coin on there to kind of trap all those flavors in there, let them saturate the vapor in the glass.
aromatic hydrocarbon?
It's like Dr. Scotch.
Where can you get one of these bad boys?
You can go scotchfordummies.com.
Oh, that's
Can you
really-
get
Wow.
these?
No, these are first fill. and
Do,
we're
do
on
we
the
have
third
any
fill.
left? Or are they gone?
We got
I'm
some.
getting more barbecue in the
Yes,
hands than I
pre-
expected.
All we've got left are third fill coins right now.
Okay,
Well,
so
okay,
Oh.
interesting. Interesting.
Lagavulin 11, Nick Offerman, finished in Guinness.
So we talked earlier about
Mm.
Lagavulin 16 is your go-to, right? You know it. If I poured it blind in like 4 other glasses, you're probably 99% sure you probably pick it up, right?
I'm
Yeah.
confident I
Does
get
this smell like a Lagavulin to you?
it. On
No.
the hands, it didn't.
No. Like it maybe has some characteristics, but
Really?
you couldn't pull it out.
Do you get a mineral quality to it?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Right?
Metallic.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
something that it doesn't. No, it does not have a
It's like a
signature
slate
Lagavulin.
or
No.
a.
It's almost a sauerkraut too.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. It is a sour nose, a little bit sour.
Yeah.
nose.
I can get.
Well, I'm a good Polak. I love some sourdough.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't like this nose. I'm just saying it's got a little tinge of something on there. I don't get a whole lot of peat or smoke or anything on
No,
the
I don't
nose
get
either.
any of the Lagavulin signature nose on this.
No, but it does kick the peat kicks in. You get all that smokiness right on the initial palate.
Wow, does it ever smell like my
and
grandpa's
you get some
cellar?
dark chocolate coming through.
Mm.
Ooh, ooh,
Mm.
almost milk chocolate.
I gotta be honest, but the nose isn't really
Oh
tantalizing me here.
wow! This is really good so far.
Yep.
First impression.
So
Ooh, there's a little aftertaste of chocolate going on.
Yeah. Initially, it tastes a little bit like a fairly young peated whiskey. It's like punchy and active, and you get that smoke, and that'll settles down in the mid palate, and it's like brownies. Turns into brownies.
Brownies, yes.
It's got some nice dark chocolate
Some
notes
vanilla.
to it.
Yeah.
I like your description of an active, punchy Scotch. It's very. It's got a lot of things going on.
Yep.
But it doesn't feel like out of balance or out of character. It's just younger. So it's
It does
just
feel
got a lot
younger,
of
yeah.
things going on, but they all feel like they should be there. I'm trying to pick out like notes that I would attribute to the Guinness, because that's the whole thing,
the only thing I
right?
can get so far is the very end.
Like maybe on the finish, there's a little bit of not like Guinness flavor, but like a darker, fuller
Dark
body.
bitter.
Yeah, because I get that bitter chocolate.
I get that dark
Towards
chocolate
the
at the very,
end.
very end.
I do not think of Guinness though when I taste it.
No,
No,
I don't either.
No.
Okay, so this is weird. My first palate, you guys know what flat Coca-Cola tastes like?
Yep.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so I got the flavor of flat Coke, but I got the feeling of like over carbonated Coke because it was really sharp.
Yeah.
I mean, the physical sensation on the tongue and the palate was very sharp and biting, but it tasted like flat Coca-Cola. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like a filthy rum and Coke?
Yeah, it feels hotter than 46%.
It does. And I'm trying to figure out because it feels very. I would almost, if I didn't know better, put it in the 50s somewhere.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel like overly hot, but it's weird because it's only on my tongue. The rest of my mouth is like, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, but your tongue's on fire.
Right.
The nose does not do it justice though so far. I mean,
No,
it's like I'm trying. I'm like, give me something. I'm hoping the water will open it up. I'm not getting anything.
I thought I
spectacular.
would get more on the nose after the initial sip, and it's still it's a very
subtle.
mellow, subtle nose.
almost a little bit of vinegar.
So like honey and
All right, I'm gonna put just a little bit of water on it. See what
honey
happens.
and hay a little bit on the nose. Yeah, it does not smell peaty at all, really on the nose. Well, I mean, you get
The water opened it up a little bit, but I kind of
Mentally,
figured that it
yeah.
would.
It has a little bit of tobacco now. My
I'm
second
thinking
sip of
hard,
meat.
buddy.
So the second drink didn't have that rough edginess, that physical rough edginess. It was easier to get to it, but it still had this just really flat Coca-Cola flavor that
It doesn't sound good.
no, I'm
You're not enjoying it too much.
I'm not.
I will say, I kind of like what the water did.
I'm hoping, I'm praying, please, dear
The
Lord.
first sip I enjoyed. The second sip was a little letdown.
The nose is punchy.
So the first sip with water, and I didn't put much on, but it kind of tamed down that sharp, edgy punchiness a little bit, and a lot of sweet flavors came out. And I got some straw notes, and it's got a little bit of smoke going on that I just didn't get to before because it was just such a sharp punch. I still get the dark chocolate on the end, so that's nice.
We
You
need
got a water?
right here.
No, I want to clear.
There's more of this is my first go in with water in the nose.
I think it comes. Go ahead.
I'm getting more salty like caramel and taffy than I did before, but it's not very potent. Like I'm digging.
No, and I think it came up to me that came apart a little bit with the water in that the peatedness is still there. And actually, I think the peatedness carries through better now. And the brownies kind of come up, but awkwardly.
Yeah, I will agree with
It's
that.
like a 12-year-old at a dance, kind of awkwardness. Not that bad. But
It's odd because the peat kind of overrides everything in
It
the
does.
mid palate back.
Yeah.
And so you start with this like sweet notes up front, and then it just kind of stops and the peat overrides it. And then you get to the back and you end up with dark chocolate, but you don't know where it came from. That's kind of where I'm landing on that.
This is. I feel like I'm struggling now with this a little bit. Like with my first initial taste, I was really excited about it. It tasted really good, the dark chocolate, but I haven't had anything really blow me away yet.
All right.
You're
It sounds like
disappointed.
Mark's
Do it,
ready.
man.
He's disappointed. I can tell.
If you had wa- if you had
hate
water-
to do it, but I'm going to start off. So here's where I'm going to go. First of all, I'm going to say that there is a patron that we have that has had this and said his initial glass was very let down, didn't like it. Came back weeks later and said, wow, I really enjoy it. So I'm just going to start with, I pray to God that happens with me, because I got to be honest, and I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm going to beat the crap out of this. I got to be honest. So the initial nose, it was just like, number one, it didn't have any Lagavulin signature, and I couldn't find Lagavulin at all. Saved my life. Blind me, not pulling Lagavulin out of that, not getting it. It did have a sour note, an weird note going on. It reminded me of walking into my grandfather's cellar when I would go down there and we were canning stuff. Had that kind of smell.
Sauerkraut.
Yeah, exactly, sauerkraut. Because that's literally what we were canning. But the first palate, really physically rough on the tongue. Just rip your tongue up like, whoa, what's going on? Almost like if you took, really high carbonated stuff on a hot day and shook it up into and you're just like, but the flavor tasted like just old flat Coke. Like you poured it and came back the next day and drank. I was like, oh, what the hell? And I was like, what the hell's going on? Didn't get any Lagavulin on the palate either. I couldn't find it to save my life. I put some water on it, on the nose with water. I found a hint of Lagavulin. I was like, oh shit, there you are. Oh, where'd you go? What? There you are. Where'd you go? Oh. And so it was like hide and seek. It was there and wasn't there. Now I will say I did get a couple of other things like honey on the nose with water, which I did find pleasant. Yeah. But I got to be honest, the palate didn't come back around. I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
Dang.
What'd you pay for this?
What did I pay for it? Shoot, what did I pay for it, guys? You know what? While you guys are going, I'll look on my my total wine receipt and tell you. I can't remember. I looked yesterday.
Ballpark it 70.
Yeah, I want to say it was 60.
That's not bad.
But it might have been more than that, and I'll get that number for you while they're talking. But I really, it pains me to say 1.5 on this, and I will follow it up. If it does come back around in a couple weeks and I have a dram and I find it much more enjoyable, like that our patron did, I will follow it up because I hate to be Lagavulin's, man, it's one of my tried and true lovers, man. But this one, the other Offerman 11, I found much more enjoyable than this. And it disappoints me because Guinness is my favorite beer. But I got to.
I'm worried about what you tasted before you ate this and may have colored your opinion. That's all I can say.
All right. Let's hear what this guy's got going on.
I'm sticking to it.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna make an excuse for you.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew.
So I will say this is not Lagavulin 16, and Lagavulin 16 is a 3.35 in my book every day. Arguably one of the best whiskeys I would take on a desert island because it has a really great balance. This has a lot of good whiskey in it, and there's a lot of good flavors in it, and I think opening up will make a difference because neat, we had literally just cracked this bottle open and I had a lot of good flavors in it. I like the brownies. I like that active peat punch in it. It's a little hot.
Wheelhouse.
Yeah, it was like blowing an Andrew call. Wheelhouse. So this is good whiskey. I think it can be a little disconnected, but I enjoy it. It's at least do I give it a 3? I think this got potential. I think it's worth a 3. It's not a 3.5, but it's got some good character in it that you don't get in most Lagavulin. It is young. Maybe it's a 2.5. I'm going to go with a 3 just because I think it's got great potential.
All right.
Do I need to make excuses for you? You made them for me.
I want to wait just a little bit.
I do want to give you guys an update. I did check. It was $81.99, so $82 US here in Central Indiana, Indianapolis.
The thing is,
so it's $82.
Again, the beauty of Lagavulin is you sip it and you can just chew on it for 15 minutes.
I don't want to chew on this for 15 minutes.
Oh man, you are.
All right. Is it me?
You're off.
Want me to go?
You're off.
All right. We're going to skip Drew. I'm going to go next. All right. So I will say I agree with some of the stuff that you said to describe it. It was kind of like eating a bunch of Pop Rocks and it just like kind of just grabbed onto your tongue and you couldn't get to anything else because it was such an assault. It did have some like brownie, dark chocolate notes that kind of came in on the backside that were nice. I thought the water was nice because it kind of tamed down that assault on the tongue and let you get to some sweet notes. So there was some straw, there was some honey, some nicer notes. I never, neat or with water, thought that the nose was particularly interesting. I mean, there just really wasn't a whole lot of there, which was kind of disappointing because it's Lagavulin. So I went into this thinking that, well, at least I'm going to get a good nose out of this thing. And that wasn't the case. But it wasn't bad. It was just kind of like a little bit out of kilter. And I'm attributing that, I guess, to its youth. But I think I agree with Andrew a little bit that I think that there's some underlying flavors and things in this bottle that as it sits are going to come out and kind of come together a little bit more.
I do.
I am disappointed that I never really thought that I would be like, oh, well, there's the Guinness. Right?
It tastes like
but I thought that there would be something about it that I'd be like attributable to that, because if you put it in like a Cabernet Sauvignon cask, I'm going to be like, there's the Cabernet Sauvignon at some point in my tasting experience. And I never really got it with this. So to me, it was just kind of a marketing thing. I don't know that it really added anything to it. So if you're a Guinness fan and you're like, well, I've got to have that bottle, be prepared to be a little bit.
If you don't like peated whiskey, you won't
disappointed,
like it.
I guess, on that one. So I think it's a good average whiskey. I'm stuck between a 2 and a 2.5. I'll probably give it the benefit of the doubt and give it a 2.5. Just because I think that there's stuff in there that when we come back to it in a couple weeks is going to be a little bit nicer. But I may be disappointed and drop it down to a 2. So
Fair point.
2.5 for me.
Man, I am struggling hard on this one. This is tough. This is tough.
Talk yourself through it, bro.
So here's the deal. I'm right now. I think you're way high, and I think you're closer to where I'm at. I think you're about a little high, but I'm not sure. I'm coming in with a 2 at this point, maybe 1.5. Here's why. I think that for $80, and for a Lagavulin 11-year-old, the 11-year-old is already kind of high for that. Just what it is. I know I'm not trying to put price to it, but it is. But I'm not getting anything out of this that is super strong. There's nothing. It's like a muddiness. There's nothing potent coming out, and I'm struggling on the nose, whether it was neat or with water. Nothing was like solid. I had to dig for everything. The only dram that I liked was the very first one. And that was like, oh, what is this? This is a softer peated Lagavulin. I don't get the Lagavulin taste, but it's a nice peated, and it has a little bit of chocolate. And I was excited because I mentally thought, oh, it's a little signet. They put the Guinness in there. Oh, what am I going to get after some water or anything else? And then my next sip was more of a letdown. And then with water, even more of a letdown. Like it's like not even giving me anything specifically out of this. It just I feel like it feels really young. It feels like it needs more time. I wish there was the Guinness. I wish there was more stuff in it. And it's not like if there was more chocolate in that, it would make that thing stand out so much more.
I think it will come out.
And maybe it will.
The thing is, those chocolate flavors are not volatile. Those won't come out. All that peat and the angry youth.
They're fighting right now.
That angry youth is going to blow out. And
so Andrew's betting on the aromatic hydrocarbons.
Yeah,
He's out of the way.
You didn't watch too much Dr. Scotch.
Yes. So I'm struggling because I feel like I want to give it a 2, but I also am really disappointed enough. I want to give 1.5 because.
So remember, you gave Scotch Blue a 1.5.
I'm going to give this.
Is it that bad?
Scotch Blue, I didn't give it a 1.5.
I
I gave
did.
it a 0.5.
I gave Scotch Blue. I
gave Scotch Blue a 0.5.
And that was only because we didn't know we could give it a 0.
But the thing
Exactly.
The thing I don't like about this is that it's 11-year-old for $80 and it's not giving me my Lagavulin. I'm mad about it because I want my Lagavulin. I'm not getting it.
That's fair. Okay, so
But
you're a 2 then.
I'm a 2.
All right.
So this is one of those rare scotches there. All 4 of us picked a different number. That doesn't happen
And
very often.
I can't do that math in my head.
You know what?
1.5, 3, 2,
What did we do?
5.
So you give a
5,
2.5 and I
2.
give 1. That's a 2, and that's a 2. So a 2 and a 3. So it's gonna be 2.125.
Something like that. Yeah.
Would you give it 2.5 or 2?
2.5.
Look, I'm honest. I
2.25,
hope
yeah.
that this bottle gets better. I really pray that it gets better in a couple weeks. We come back to it. It's been open for a little bit. We let it do its thing, oxidize and do it, and come back. And I hope some of that chocolate comes out. I hope some of that vanilla comes out. And it does. I'll come back and I'll correct the
It's
score then.
approachable.
Right
It's
now,
approachable.
that's
It's
what I'm
a
getting out of
very
this bottle.
flavorful whiskey.
It's got stuff going on in it. I'm anxious to. I'm hedging my bet a little bit with my score.
I'll give you that.
I-
I'll give you
I-
that.
And,
All
I,
right.
and I hedge a little high too. So 225
That's all right.
appropriate. All right.
Man,
All right,
Ron
thanks for
Swanson,
watching,
Man, I
everybody.
finished my
down.
glass.
Please hit the like if you can, and we'll see you guys next time.
Cheers.
Watch it.
Cheers.
Cheers. I don't know, guys. I think it was a little bit. I know you really liked it.
You guys done screwed up by drinking 16 before.
I did not have any. I purposely not drink any.
I don't think I have ever screwed up by drinking Lagavulin
No, no.
16.
Smell that.
Goddamn right.
That is longable.
I'm seriously, I guys, I'll pour this
Oh,
and
my God.
blindfold you and put 2 other Pete's in there, and you wouldn't tell me which one the Lagavulin is.
No, you're right.
That,
You're right.
that does not
I
bring
would,
me
I
home.
would agree.
to
This
Lagavulin.
is not. I didn't think I wasn't going in looking for Lagavulin 16.
I wasn't looking for Lagavulin 16. I was looking for Lagavulin.
I
See
wasn't.
that big word across the
I was
label?
looking for
It says
Guinness.
Lagavulin.
I was
Hit the
looking
record
for
button.
Guinness. I was looking for some of that.
All right, let's get back to our comments.
my
Oh my
gosh.
gosh, I can't imagine what we're getting.
We're gonna get some fun comments on this
Yeah,
stuff.
let's scroll back up here. I'll see where we're
Oh,
at.
man, you guys.
Good job,
This is
Dr.
horrible.
Scott. See, Trooper knows what he's talking about.
All right, here we go.
Trooper just
here we
got out of the
go.
oil rig, man. He didn't.
Well, it's a dyslexia walks into a bra. I saw that too.
Yeah, I would like to see Nick on the show.
Right.
He's been trying.
That'd be awesome. Someday.
Oh, look, Nurse Dave, cook it.
What did he say? Anyone that gives us less than 3.5 is off my Christmas card. Nurse Dave.
So I
That's
didn't
all
give
for
it a
it.
three,
just
five,
because
I
you
gave
like
it 3.
Andrew.
So we're all, I guess we're screwed.
Mark back.
Just
up
stick
his
to the
drum.
12. Yeah. So, no. So Indy, you can put up
Which one?
Indy ingot right there. That one.
Just stick to 12. You know,
Well-
the problem with the 12 is the price point.
I
My
was at a
God.
liquor store. It was $1.99 for Lagavulin 12.
Yeah.
Wow, are you kidding
Jeez,
me?
No shit. I mean, that's
Payless and Plainfield.
$1.99.
$1.99.
$200.
Nope. Hard
No,
no.
thank you.
Hard no.
No, thank you.
Yep. So that's what I'm saying.
I'll have Mark
I'm
share.
not giving it. No. I'm not giving it away. I'm going to give it another shot. It's got. It's Lagavulin. It's,
Yeah,
Girl.
I really do think it needs to
Hey,
sit for a
Philly.
little
it
bit.
does. It's gonna be so good. Oh,
Oh wow! Look at that!
Look at
I'll
this
drink
guy.
that.
Look at this guy.
Hey, I need
Stills.
something. I need something in my glass. For
what,
that.
you want
There we go.
16 or 12?
I'm going my 16.
16.
16.
Bring me the 16. That one's got to sit for a while. It's not ready yet.
Bring me the 16.
We realize this has been in a barrel for 11 years. You don't think it's ready yet?
Bring me the 16.
Oh my God,
What did
that's
the
so
five
good.
fingers
That 16
say to
is
the
so
face?
good.
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you.
Michael, I would never talk anybody away from trying it.
So what did
Everyone
you-
needs to
what did
try
Michael
it,
say?
and I hope that it gets better. I would have gotten this one instead of the 16 is what he's saying because he's never tried it, and I think that everyone
If you've
should
had the
try it.
16, you should give. I mean, it's a fair chance to give it a try. I mean, 2.25.
I would have much rather had the Ardbeg Ugadale.
I think that it's going to be.
Peekaboo Lagavulin. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how it turns out when it sits for a little bit.
What she
Because
said.
I do think it needs to.
is that sometimes you have to go fishing for the undertones or notes of the dram.
You do.
Christopher, are
You
you my
do.
spirit animal?
Yeah, she is.
Oh.
Well, so go up to go up to pounds. There. This is what I'm sure we're saying. Peekaboo, peekaboo. Are you there? Are you not there? Are you there? Are you not there?
No. Let's see. Long time no speak. Yep. Am I missing anything? Are we good?
I'm looking.
I believe.
Brown-
You're
I gotta
moving
be
like
honest,
crazy.
Brownie M&Ms are good for the pair with peated scotch. Oh, really?
Yes, Tom, cook that. Show,
Hey, man.
show that, Tom. It's a good point.
Greg Lewis likes the 8-year-old.
I think a lot of people like the 8-year-old.
Yeah.
I think
8-year-old
the
is
8-year-old is
good.
probably where if you're a budget-minded person, you don't 8 years is probably the best value. Now
Oh,
I say that,
fair
and I
point.
can find 16 at different price points all over Indianapolis, and if I can get it for under $90, I think it's a great deal.
The 16?
The
Yeah,
16.
for sure.
Oh, look at this. Once again, you all save me some money. Yeah, I mean, it's maybe.
I mean, I stay tuned.
It'll
on
be
that, Trevor.
interesting.
Stay tuned on that. I mean,
I will say that there's some that we've ranked low that I was like, this has nothing to offer. Like it's just dead scotch, and you're like,
Nope.
no. But this one has some stuff going on in
So-
the bottle, and I think that there's potential for it to redeem
the
itself.
peat-
in a
the
month.
residue in the glass
But
is
this-
so aromatic.
This is heaven.
Right.
So,
so-
that's what Nurse Dave wanted us to do is compare it now to the 16.
So, okay, well, give me a hot sip of, and you know what? I'll pour a little bit. So pull up Alejandro's comment too, because I want to talk to that for a second. But let me get into this 16, Alejandro.
Indeed.
So what's it say? Other than
So what-
Lagavulin
so-
16, do you think Game of Thrones 9-year-old is the next best one? That's
So-
a good question. So
yeah.
I remember having
I enjoyed that.
I think they were all pretty good. The 12 though, I remember really hitting it out of the park.
Yeah, and you have two questions there. The first part, and then you said Distiller's Edition. Let's leave the Distiller's Edition off of the question. Just the 16, the 8, the 12, and the Game of Thrones, right?
Big
Right.
difference.
So everybody's got the 16 as the baseline. I think most people will say the 12 is where it's at. Budget out of the question.
Right.
12 is just it comes in at like 54,
And it's-
56 ABV.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the ABV.
More
too.
whiskey for your money.
Yeah.
It's got a bigger. When it comes to the 8 and the 9, the Game of Thrones and the 9, I think I'm pretty sure I liked the 9 better than the 8. Those are very, very comparable.
I think
Yeah.
we did. Who did? Was it you and me that did the 9 and 8? I think it was.
Yeah.
I think we liked the 9 better than the 8.
Yeah.
If I remember, it's been. A long time.
We'd have to go back and look, but
I'd
they
have
were
to
they were
look, 'cause it
very,
was
very
close.
neck and neck, Alejandro.
Oh, they're the
The
same.
8 and the 9
maybe.
were
Yeah.
very similar. Distiller's Edition, totally different topic
Yeah.
because every year that's a different bottling, and some are better than others. I mean,
So Colin's saying 12, 16, 8, and 9 in his
okay,
opinion.
I
With
can't
no
argue
cost
that.
in play.
Can't argue that.
I do not disagree with that.
Okay,
If Lagavulin Game of Thrones bottle is $29
well,
every
yeah,
day and twice on Sunday.
exactly. If
Yeah.
they're giving the Lagavulin 9 Game of Thrones bottle away, for
You're not going to go
$30,
bad with that bottle.
But you have to
No.
drink a White Walker first.
No, no.
They'll throw a White Walker in for free.
You can pour it out on the way to your car.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting,
so
right?
See.
the 16 has a much richer sherry nose, much better. The palate,
Oh, the finish is so good.
It's so much more higher quality.
I
It feels
mean-
like it feels like it's mature.
I'm gonna put this on my pillow and go to sleep.
I will say, so I had the 16 prior to us doing the review, and I never noticed the mineral quality to Lagavulin until I had the 11. And now when I'm drinking the 16, I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. So I don't think that it tastes quite the same. It doesn't taste the same as the 11,
no.
but there are some things in there that I'm picking out that aren't peat related that I'm like, oh yeah, well there's that, I guess. So I don't know. It's interesting.
So,
Where's
Ben,
Ben?
so
It's in
it's
the
so,
house. Where is
so
Ben?
interesting because the
Where is that guy?
Peachwood,
Scroll
no.
up. Is Ben in?
No.
Is Ben
No.
commenting?
so Lagavulin 16
There
is
he is.
43%
Yeah.
ABV.
Look at that guy.
Yeah, he's always good for a
Ben.
Peachwood comment.
Come on. Hey, you know what? We're doing something with you here in a couple of weeks. We need to talk. And if it involves Beechwood, I'm out.
I'll tell you what, if anybody on here ever gets a chance to drink with Ben, you should do that. He is a super good dude.
But make sure you pay for an
You bring
Uber.
your backup liver.
Just
and
don't
you-
do
you just jump
a
in.
just
Shut
don't
up.
do a recording later that night.
That might have been our most embarrassing moment.
You know what I
You
did
know what?
after
You
I
haven't
drank with
lived until
Ben?
you've
I
been,
went to
you
a
know,
bar and drank
Embarrass
some
yourself.
more.
All right, guys,
Um,
it's 11
so-
o'clock, past our bedtime.
Interesting review on this. I mean, I'm glad we did it. And I hope that it saves itself in a couple of weeks. We'll say that.
Yeah.
I'm interested in to give it another shot, open up some more. But I first impression was a little bit let down.
I would say let's put a pin in like, what do you think, 2 weeks, a month? We'll bring that one back. We'll bring the 11 that I have on my
We
bar.
should do a
I've got-
Lagavulin shoot.
I've got
Well,
a Game
so-
of Thrones 9.
What we can do is,
We can snatch an
go
8.
live, and what
We get a
after
12,
this
right?
releases, we can do the live and schedule live. Yeah.
I like it. Let's do a
Yeah.
shootout.
So we'll go get a 12.
And an
Ooh,
8.
can we get 12?
Dude,
What do you mean, can we?
Do you have one?
No.
I like it. That's a good one.
But I said,
All right.
we gotta go find
So
one for
anyway, it
less
was
than
great to
200
see
bucks.
Dr. Scotch, and it
It
was,
was
great
awesome.
to see all of you. I love to see all the faces, the new folks. Thank you so much to all the super chats. That was really wonderful.
Absolutely.
Happy Thursday, guys. Good show.
We'll do this again
Good
next week.
times. Love y'all.
Whatever, man.
Sasha.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Have a good weekend.
3, 2, 1.